The news that Caitlin Clark has officially declined every major off-season league offer, including a reported $15 million deal, is the reality that has shattered the basketball world's expectations. While fans see Clark as the undisputed savior of the WNBA, the industry view behind closed doors is far more complicated. The public often believes that Clark's presence is a rising tide lifting all boats, but a series of leaked podcast comments, viral snubs, and uniting front t-shirts suggest that the locker room environment is reaching a breaking point. We're going to dig into the financial receipts, the failed negotiations for the new player leagues, and the specific reasons why WNBA veterans are now openly calling out the league's most profitable star. By the end of this video, we will answer 3 critical questions. Why did Clark say no to leagues like Unrivaled and the Big Three despite record-breaking offers? How is her absence from player-led union meetings creating a divide with her peers? And what does the Caitlin Clark should be grateful comment allegedly made by league leadership reveal about the true power struggle in women's basketball? Per the internal industry reports from late 2025 and early 2026, the narrative that Clark is simply taking a break to recover from her groin injury and lower body strains is only half the story. The reality is that Clark is currently holding more leverage than the WNBA itself, and that power is causing a massive rift. According to the Show Me Something podcast aired in late 2025, Indiana Fever teammate Sophie Cunningham revealed that the atmosphere around these new off-season ventures is tense. Clark gave a firm no to joining Unrivaled and other projects designed to give players equity and high salaries. The plan today is to break down the receipts of these rejections and show you why the industry is panicking as its biggest draw pulls back from the united front the players are trying to build. We have to look at the numbers. While the average WNBA salary hovers around $120,000, Clark is sitting on a business empire that makes the league's salary cap look like pocket change. This disparity is the gasoline on the fire of veteran resentment. The second most shocking point in this investigation involves the viral "Pay Us What You Owe Us" movement. According to reports from the 2025 All-Star Weekend in Indianapolis, the WNBA players staged a protest by wearing black warm-up shirts to demand a better revenue-sharing deal in the upcoming collective bargaining negotiations. However, the shock came afterward, when veteran star Kelsey Plum dropped a bombshell in a press conference. Per the media transcript from July 21, 2025, Plum noted that 0 members of Team Clark were present at the meeting where the protest was organized. While Plum later tried to play it off, the message was clear. There is a growing perception that Clark and her camp are operating on a completely different frequency than the rest of the league. This wasn't just about a shirt. It was about the perception that while veterans are fighting for a fair share of the billion-dollar revenue projections for 2025, Clark is already secured by her 8-year Nike contract worth over $28 million. The receipts from the New York Post and other outlets confirm that Team Clark was a no-show for the very meeting intended to show league-wide solidarity. The payout here is the realization that the unity of the WNBA is currently a myth, and the players are beginning to view Clark's silence as a form of opposition. The number one most shocking revelation is the alleged savior complex and the inflammatory comments coming from the very top of the WNBA office. According to a viral report and exit interview details from Minnesota Lynx star Napheesa Collier in late 2025, WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert allegedly told players in a private setting that Caitlin should be grateful for the platform the WNBA provides. The allegations suggest the commissioner claimed Clark wouldn't make her $16 million off-court income without the league's existence. While Engelbert staunchly denied making these specific comments during a pre-finals press conference on October 3, 2025, the damage was done. The receipts show that Clark actually signed her most lucrative deals, including the massive Nike contract and her Gatorade partnership, primarily based on her historic collegiate run at Iowa. The reality is that the WNBA needs Clark's record-breaking breaking ratings, which saw a jump to over 2 million viewers per game, more than Clark needs the WNBA's base salary of roughly $76,000. When the league leadership even hints that the star should be grateful, while veterans are calling the leadership the worst in the world, it creates an impossible environment for Clark to fit in. She's caught between a league office that wants to use her as a financial shield and teammates who view her as a scab for not joining their off-season labor strikes. Following that, we have to look at the staggering Big Three and Unrivaled rejections. According to reports from August and September 2025, Clark turned down a massive $15 million offer from Ice Cube's Big Three League. Per the TFU podcast and subsequent reporting by Sports Illustrated, the offer started at $5 million and escalated to $15 million for just 10 weeks of play. Additionally, Clark declined to participate in the inaugural season of Unrivaled, the 3-on-3 league founded by Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier, despite an offer reported to be north of $1 million with significant equity. By snubbing these player-led startups, Clark is effectively signaling that she doesn't need the collective bargaining power of her peers. The veterans view these leagues as a way to finally achieve profitable salaries without going to Russia or Turkey. When the biggest star refuses to lend her gravity to the project, the valuation of those leagues, currently sitting around $340 million for Unrivaled, takes a hit. The payout here is that while other players are trying to build a new economy together, Clark is perfectly fine in her own siloed empire, and that independence is being interpreted as a lack of sisterhood. The fourth point involves the toxic fan base variable and its impact on locker room chemistry. Per a Guardian report and various insider accounts from the 2025 season, the industry is struggling with the fact that Clark has become a culture war totem. When Clark was sidelined with injuries late in the season, the discourse didn't focus on her medical recovery, it focused on accusations that other players were targeting her. This narrative has made it almost impossible for veterans to provide standard on-court physicality or criticism without being labeled as jealous or hateful. The reality is that the industry drama is being fueled by a new audience that often lacks context of the league's history, creating a protective bubble around Clark. This bubble makes her teammates feel like they are walking on eggshells. According to internal team sources, the tension in the Indiana Fever locker room occasionally boiled over because the Clark effect meant that even a simple missed pass became a national headline about her teammates being failing her. The fifth body point explores the financial fleece happening at the organizational level. According to Forbes and Sportico valuations released in December 2025, the Indiana Fever's worth has skyrocketed from $90 million to a staggering $370 million in just over a year. That is a four-fold increase in franchise value directly attributed to the drafting of Caitlin Clark. The team is projected to earn $32 million in revenue for 2025, outpacing even the champion New York Liberty. Yet, under the current collective bargaining agreement, the players' share of this revenue has actually fallen as a percentage because their raises are capped at 3% annually. This is the giant red flag for the 2026 season. If the league can't find a way to pay the veterans a guaranteed percentage of this new wealth, the resentment toward the one player who is already a multi-millionaire will only grow. The payout here is that the 2026 season is shaping up to be a total labor war, with Clark standing right in the middle of a crossfire she didn't ask for. The sixth point addresses the relatability gap regarding lifestyle and travel. According to leaked memos from the Players Association, a major point of contention in 2025 was the transition to full-season charter flights. While the league eventually caved, the delay was seen by many veterans as the league only caring about player safety once Clark entered the picture. Per reports from late 2025, some older players feel that the league is retrofitting itself specifically for one person. When Clark travels with a private security detail and flies on separate arrangements for marketing appearances, it creates a visual hierarchy that the WNBA, a league built on egalitarian principles, has never seen before. The receipts of her travel schedule show a player who is constantly in demand by Fortune 500 companies, further distancing her from the daily grind of a typical WNBA pro. Finally, we look at the long-term impact on Clark's legacy and the league's stability. By choosing choosing to sit out the offseason and distance herself from player-led movements, Clark is prioritizing her physical longevity and her individual brand over locker room politics. The cost of this move is a total isolation from the vet culture that has defined the WNBA for decades. According to analysts, the league is currently in a fragile growth phase. If the veterans decide to strike in 2026 and Clark chooses to play or remain silent, the league could split in two. The industry is watching to see if she will eventually be forced to pick a side, or if she will continue to be the one-woman economy that the rest of the league is struggling to keep up with. The cost of her mistakes isn't just measured in fines anymore, it's measured in the total loss of the locker room's trust. In summary, the Caitlin Clark era is proving to be the most disruptive force in women's sports history. We've seen the receipts of the snubbed millions from the Big Three and Unrivaled, the tattletale comments from the All-Star press conference, and the shocking lack of communication between the Stars camp and the union leadership. This isn't just about basketball. It's about a total shift in power that the WNBA leadership was clearly not prepared to manage. The insider takeaway is that you can't have a united front when one person is the front, the back, and the center of the entire business model. The players want the money she brings, but they don't seem to want the changes that come with it. The 2026 season will determine if the Caitlin Clark effect saves the league or tears it apart from the inside. If you want to understand the real financial war happening in the WNBA and why the upcoming season might be the most chaotic one yet, you need to see the full picture. For more on the hidden power plays and industry secrets that define the league today, you need to check out our Court Vision Rope Industry Secrets playlist. It's the essential next step to understanding the game behind the game.